Well, hello everybody, it's Fern and Frank with Java Walker World. Welcome. Today we are covering the 3M Thinsulate insulation and we tackled the finished floor. Come and join us.
Check it out.
If you're new around here, welcome to our channel. We are traditionally travel vloggers, but we are converting our very own camper van. We have a Ford Transit 250 and we're excited to share our build with you. Welcome aboard. We are putting the insulation for the ceilings. Frank's putting on his mask. New scissors, a mask, and here we go. The big roll. This was not cheap. So this Thinsulate cost almost 700 Canadian dollars. Picked it up in Montreal on our way here from Ottawa.
It's French.
It's not French. It's hard to find in Canada, and you can order it in from the States, and so they have to ship it in from the States, and we were on a timeline, so that's what we're working with. So we were advised to get new scissors and a mask. And along with that, we needed some spray glue. They recommended a 3M product. I couldn't find it. We're using the Gorilla one. Okay, so scissors, measuring tape, glue, the Thinsulate. Apparently that's all we need. This is what it looks like. Apparently you can touch it, you don't have to worry about it, it's non-toxic, all of that good stuff.
Get all the protective gear.
Yeah. The Thinsulate is safe to be around and all non-toxic. But the glue is opposite. The glue is toxic. Alright. So I'm good with that. Okay, now we have to do all the rest. Insulation is coming across pretty good. I am filling every cavity that I can possibly get at, even down these channels. I have it all done. We're going to put our leftover insulation in these areas. There's an airbag system going on here. Don't want to fuss with that. We'll try to put what we can all along there. What we discovered is that the sliding door has this plastic. There's a lot of mechanisms in here. So there is no room to put any insulation on the door itself. Now, maybe we can get some in through these channels. But we'll try with all the little bits. And right now we're working on the overhead there. And once we get that in, we've got most of the front half. We're going to leave the ceiling until we get this in, which will be tonight. Once we get that done, we will proceed and do these here, like that. And the back doors, we'll see what happens. In reality, you can't insulate every square inch of this place. So we just do the best we can. That's all we can do. I hope for the best. So we're maneuvering insulation through all these little cavities through there. Along pretty good. We still have that section to do. This one is done. That is done. That is done. Including this channel is done. That's done. We still need to do that. What else do we need to do? And then we need to look around for all these little holes and so forth. We're going to be putting strapping along here for when we do our ceiling. So there's going to be some strapping there. So we are putting the insulation for the ceilings. And we are starting here at the front. Frank's putting on his mask. And we don't know where the safety glasses are. They're right here. No, yeah, there we go. Okay. So, this is what the floor looks like at the moment. I think it'll be nice and durable and easy to take care of. Frank needs to add the plywood end there. Number 2, the back end of the van. We have a transition to put here. We need to extend the plywood along here. Frank is just making his coffee. It's a new morning, and today in this van build that we're doing on the Ford Transit, we are putting in the finished floor. So come and join us. All right, let's see. In the back, where are we on this? This is the flooring we bought. It's a rollout vinyl flooring. So what we're hoping to do is to lay down the original flooring that came with the van to see if we can still use that now that we've put a subfloor, all of that in, the walls and the wheel wells are positioned differently. Even the side door entranceway there is positioned differently. We're going to put the original floor down to see if we can still use that as a template. So let's do that. Okay, so what I've taken out are the plastic wheel wells that go over top of the insulation. I've taken that, removed that so that we can bring the flooring as close as we can so it's underneath those plastic wheel covers, wheel well covers. And we're going to go ahead and sweep this up, vacuum this up, make sure all the grit is gone. Frank has to add an extension here of the 5/8 plywood because our water system that we have selected does not fit under the bed. It has these, it's just too tall for, we've put the bed, positioned the bed on one of these, on these main rails. And we wanted that mainly not is because of the structure, but also because we're older and climbing in and out of bed can be a problem later on. So we want this van to be in our lives for a while. So we decided to go ahead and keep it kind of low, which meant our water bottles and the mechanism that attaches to it are a little bit too high. So we're bringing the water bottles just outside the bed right here. That way they'll be easy to remove and refill and so forth right here. So Frank's going to put here a piece of plywood.
Frank. Good morning, Frank. How are you?
Say good morning, friends.
Good morning, friend.
What do you think of his attire? This is his construction attire.
My
Socks
construction
and imitation Crocs from the dollar store, and
doesn't even protect you against the rocks on the driveway.
Yeah, not exactly the best, but they're in and out shoes is what we call them. Frank's going to check on Molly. We're going to vacuum, try to get all of the grit. Our idea is to put a great big tarp here on the gravel, put plywood so that we have a cutting surface, and then put which is the original floor that was on here, if it works, we'll see, over top. That's our goal. Molly, we have been anticipating her going into heat, and there we are. She went into heat yesterday. She's been a good girl, very clingy these days. So we are moving the old flooring that came with the van to see how it fits in here and whether or not we can use it as a template if it fits. So
the wheel wells we just make a little bit longer.
So what we're seeing here doesn't need to come forward. So on the wheel wells, we need to make it a little tighter. So we'll make this space not as big, right? The very end, because we're adding another piece of wood here, the very end, we have to keep it longer. So these are mental notes as we're cutting. And because we have done this, changed out this system here on the stepping in, we're going to also have to keep this as big as possible. So these rolls are 6 by 8, and you can see that there are plenty of space, so we can use that far end as our guide. We have to make sure we don't do this in reverse and end up ruining it, so we have to really think about what we're doing. And then we can keep this long and trim it once it's in. Then we'll remove it, put the glue in, and all of that stuff. Got it all memorized what we need to do. We're putting this tarp down so we don't get rocks all over everything. We'll put the tarp, the plywood. The plywood is not for anything other than having a straight surface to cut on. So we have now put our template, the original flooring that we had in the van, and we're laying it out straight. And now...
That's not right. You need to roll the vinyl on the plywood and this on top.
Oh. Okay, we need to put the vinyl down first and then put the template on top so we can see what we're doing.
Underneath it's going to...
Okay, so we have laid down the vinyl flooring as straight as we can, following the edge of the plywood. This is just a guide so that we stay square. And now we're going to lay over the template over top of that, keeping in mind the situations that we have to leave a little extra longer in those situations. And we're laying it down right beside the van so that our mind is oriented correctly when we do this. So here we are. I think we're happy with that. We've got it on the straight edge. We're using the plywood to guide us to be straight and square. The far edge, straight and square, straight and square. We are clamped down. We know around the wheel wells, we need to make that a little bit not as big, just a little bit small. We can trim it when we get into the van. And we know that area there, which is where our step is in our sliding door, that we leave that alone, and we'll trim that once we're up here. And here we go. We're going to start marking this and cutting it out. So we are making marks like this. And we're doing that all along, leaving the extra space that we talked about earlier. Okay, so all that I need to cut out is cut. Recall, we're leaving this alone so we can cut it in position and get it right the first time. There we go. Frank's just going to vacuum one more time in there. So this is what the floor looks like at the moment.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Pretty impressive. Nice flooring.
Yeah, I think it'll be nice and durable and easy to take care of.
Yeah.
Yep, so now we just have to cut this part, but Frank needs to add the plywood end there. But now that we know what we're doing, we're in good shape. Template number 2, the back end of the van. Okay, so here's our floor. We have a transition to put here. And we need to extend the plywood along here before we proceed. This is why we've left this a little longer. We're getting there. So we're setting up right now so we can use, I've got a template for the back, that back extension that we need to do. We're going to use this piece of plywood, and Frank's going to jigsaw it out. This is the template I made for that back end. Frank wants to cut this piece of wood off, chop it off, so he can jigsaw this. And then we have to put a hole here. This hole is so that we have access to our tire, our spare tire that is underneath the van. There is my template mark all across here. The circle area we need to cut, and across there. And so Frank's cut the ends straight with a skill saw. Molly is watching us working. Are you a good girl in jail? You're on the deck, jail. Are you doing, sweetie? How you feeling? Huh? How you feeling? Oh, it's tough to be a girl, isn't it? You'll just have to go through this once and we'll get you fixed. Okay, so we have some clamps. I will hold it as well. Okay, so this is the piece that we don't need. This is the piece we're keeping. So I will hold on to this as Frank is working.
And make sure it doesn't move from...
Yeah, the table's pretty wobbly. Not the best work table, but it's what we have. Frank drilled some holes so he can get the jigsaw into position, and hopefully we can cut this round, somewhat oval. The blade broke.
It didn't break, it just came off.
This is a little tight for there, so he's gone back to cut a little tiny bit. And it fits like a glove. There you go. Guys, this is the product that Home Depot recommended we use, and a trowel. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get going. And this is my homemade stretcher that I'm putting on.
It's on the 6.
Teamwork. Here we go. The last little bit of it. We just had enough glue. Plug-in system. These are basically lights that you would put underneath. We're going to plug it into our Blue Eddy or shore power. Look at the van, and the lights are going like this. The deal is we have the lights run over where the vanity is going to be positioned. Now all of these little 12-volt lines come to take care of those lines afterwards. Our Blue Eddy is going to be positioned here as well. Thank you for joining us this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, please give us a like or a subscribe. Would be much appreciated. And of course, if you're on social media, you can always find us at Java Walker World. We'll see you next time.